Now that we've cleared the Inquisitor's feats, we move on to their spells, beginning with 0 and 1st level. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire, bringing you the next step in the 1st edition Pathfinder Inquisitor Guide, this time talking about 0 and 1st level spells. And there's a fair number to talk about here, but before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on that storied roster, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's kick things off with 0 level spells. And first and foremost, it's a classic. It's one that everybody gets access to, and given that it's 0 level spells and you are a spontaneous divine spellcaster, you can use this pretty much at any instant that you need to. We have Detect Magic. You detect magic out in a 60-foot cone area. The longer you concentrate, the more details you will pick up, starting with the presence of magical auras, if any are around, the number and strongest aura by the time you hit the 2nd round of concentration, and at the 3rd round of concentration, the strength and location of each aura, including making knowledge arcana checks to identify the schools of magic if those magic items or auras are within your line of sight. The next one is Read Magic. You give yourself the ability to read and decipher the notations, runes, and symbols on scrolls, books, and weapons for 10 minutes per level, and even after the spell effect is ended, once you have successfully and properly read through and deciphered those runes, notations, symbols, and the like, you're able to continue to do so afterwards. A very, very handy spell indeed. But next is Oath of Anonymity. You give yourself a +10 bonus on disguise checks to conceal your identity, but not impersonate anyone. And this does so by distorting your appearance, body language, other mannerisms, and any animal companions that you might have, so you will appear significantly different to people. You will be able to pass by pretty significantly, and while disguise is not a skill we'll be focusing on too much, for those instances where it does come up, this is a great spell to have in your back pocket. Definitely gives you a significant boost. And the next spell is Guidance. You touch a target to grant a +1 competence bonus on an attack roll, saving throw, or skill check, and the target can choose which roll to use it on for up to 1 minute from the point that you give them this bonus. So it's only a +1, but it's a competence bonus which stacks with a lot of different things. There's not a whole lot of competence bonus providing sources out there, so this actually isn't too bad at all, though as you advance in level this will quickly get replaced, but still not bad in a pinch. And then we move on to our 1st level spells, beginning with Wrath. For 1 minute, you can give yourself a +1 morale bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls for every 3 caster levels you have, with a max bonus of +3 by the time you hit level 9. And this is against a creature that you can see and you specifically select. You receive this bonus on caster level checks to overcome spell resistance as well, and by the time you hit level 12, you will gain the benefit of improved critical on attack rolls made against the target. So that's actually pretty significant, having a 1st level spell that will scale in its usefulness as you advance in level. This will keep this particular spell useful for you throughout the course of your adventuring career. The next spell is Bless. For 1 minute per level, you give all allies in a 50-foot burst radius a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and saving throws versus fear effects. And the fact that this can hit multiple allies, if you have an ally in every single 5-foot square in that 50-foot radius, that's pretty big. And again, it's a +1 morale bonus. So this is a separate source and benefit from a lot of other sources, meaning that this will stack pretty nicely with several other things. This may not be a spell you keep around or use forever, but still, at your earlier levels, this is a great buff to throw out there really fast. The next spell is Divine Favor. which for 1 minute you will give yourself a +1 luck bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls for every 3 caster levels, with a max bonus of +3. So because it's a luck bonus, this will stack with the bonuses that you get from Wrath, which are a morale bonus. So this is a great combination with which you can use to really boost your combat ability, whether you're focusing on melee, as what we're doing with this build suggests, or going with ranged attacking. Either way, this is great to have, and this is a great way for you to be able to reach out and touch the big bad evil guy and start dealing some really good damage to him. Then the next spell after that is Keep Watch. You touch one creature every 2 levels to grant them the ability to stand watch all night and still gain the benefits of a full night's rest. Prepared spellcasters may prepare their spells. Effects that rely on sleep or dreaming are ineffective, such as the Nightmare spell. But just bear in mind that any vigorous activity will end the spell effect. So I've read a guide or 2 out there that suggests using this for people who are into crafting, so that way they can continue crafting. But most activities of crafting are very, very, very labor intensive, like blacksmithing. That's a fairly labor intensive and vigorous activity that may depend on what your DM decides to count as vigorous activity. For example, writing or painting, I would say probably in most instances not really vigorous enough to end the spell effect. But yeah, it just comes down to DM discretion at that point. And then the last spell that we have for you is Ears of the City. You touch one creature, and for 1 round per level, they can focus and gather information by focusing on and watching past events and conversations. Each round, for the duration of the spell, the target may make a diplomacy check to gather information as though they had spent 1d4 hours out and about talking to people. However, given that they are watching past events, the target may instead use their perception instead of diplomacy. So given that we, as Inquisitors, get significant bonuses to our perception skill, and it's a class skill, and it's using a good stat for us, our wisdom score, you're definitely going to want to use perception. This will allow you to gather all the information you could possibly need, and in a comparatively short amount of time. This makes you a great utility character. I can't stress enough how much this will do to save you and your team so much time, and you're using a skill you're incredibly good at. So definitely have Ears of the City in mind for any of those situations where you are looking to investigate, research, whatever the information gathering might be. This is a great must-have spell for you. But what do you think? Certainly there are more first level spells, and you definitely have access to all the 0 level spells, so go on down to the comments below and let me know what you think about this spell list. Do you disagree with it? Do you like it? Are there any other spells you might suggest or throw down in there? Certainly, Cure Light Wounds is a solid contender, but it's one of those spells that's better off as a wand. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll engage in discussion. And don't forget to hit those like or dislike buttons, and subscribe to the Gamers Den if you have not done so already. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.